blockchain explorers are useful tools when you're navigating a particular network. The reason why is because they keep track of all the activity and all the information that's going on in a particular blockchain. And so we all know that there are a lot of blockchains out there. Some examples would be like Ethereum, Avalanche, Polygon, Binance, or something like that. And each one of these networks have their own blockchain explorers. So, for example, we have here Etherscan for Ethereum, Snowtrace for Avalanche, Polygon Scan for Polygon, BSC Scan for Binance, so on and so forth. Now, you may notice here that the design of these websites are very similar, which is really useful, especially if you're moving on to a new network and then you want to look at a blockchain explorer on that new network. Then you at least have an idea of how these blockchain explorers work, just because you've used past blockchain explorers and they all have similar designs. Now, if you take a look at the home pages of these explorers, you'll see that there's some really basic information about the network. So, for example, the price of the coin, the market cap, transactions, the block number, gas price, and then some transaction history, stuff like that. I personally like to take a look at the gas price, just because if there's congestion and gas prices are high, I know to maybe hold off a little bit, wait a little bit until later where gas prices might be a little bit cheaper, just to save some money. And then, of course, it tells you like the latest blocks, the latest transactions, and so on and so forth. So what exactly can you do with blockchain explorers? So I quickly touched on like the overall chain information that you can derive from it, but you can also look at smart contracts, you can look at token contracts, really any kind of contracts, and you can also look at transactions. This to me is the most important thing, because this allows me to keep track of everything that I've done in the past, and for archiving purposes this is really valuable. I also like to save these transactions so that when I'm doing taxes or something like that, I can better understand what was going on at a particular date. So what I'll do is I can open up a Google Sheet, and then I'll probably like copy the URL of that transaction, paste it into my Google Sheet, and then just have a list of things that's going on, just like date by date, and then have a note next to it saying, oh, what did I do on this particular date or on this particular transaction. I have an example. I just randomly pulled this transaction off of the Avalanche blockchain, and you can see some information about a certain transaction. So this is the transaction hash. This is the status of it. So it looks like it was success, it went through. The block number it was performed on, timestamp, and then this tells you like this is the sending party of the transaction, this is the receiving party of the transaction, and then if there are any tokens that were transferred or swapped, it'll display right here. So from this particular wallet, it went through here to all the way to back to this same wallet. So this tells me that it was a probably some kind of swap, and they've moved from Chainlink tokens to wrapped AVAX. And you can actually also look at a particular token address as well. So if I'm interested in, say, wrapped AVAX, I can click into this, and then it'll give us some information about wrapped AVAX, the price of it, the fully diluted market cap, total supply, the number of holders, transfers, the contract, number of decimals, official site, and then this tells you all the transactions related to this token. I will say I'm not sure if this overview here is 100% accurate. Maybe someone can confirm with me, but I feel like there's definitely been cases where, um, in the past where I've looked at some other tokens, and this might not be 100% reflective of what's going on actually. So just take this with a grain of salt. It could be right. I'm just not too sure myself. But if you look at these tabs here, it tells you like the holders, like the highest holder for this particular token is from AWAVAX token V3, like a million. And generally speaking, these aren't actually people. These are usually like distributors or like contracts, stuff like that. So, but then you also might see some addresses of actual holders of the tokens. And then some info here exchanges that hold these tokens, DX trades, DEX trades, contract itself, analytics, etc. Now, if you're more advanced, you can definitely take a look at these contracts. I'm not a developer or like a coder or anything like that, so this stuff I can't really understand. Um, but if you are like at that level, then you can look at these contracts. They're all on the blockchain. You can maybe even see if there are any potential issues with it, any exploits or anything like that. Maybe that'll tell you, oh, this is something I need to avoid or something like that, right? When it comes to security. But yeah, this is what you can do. There's a lot you can do with blockchains. I'm more of a basic user, so I usually just keep track of my transactions, look at some token contracts, look at some smart contracts. But I'm sure there are probably more stuff you can do if you're an advanced user. So if you are, if you know there's some other strategies that you can employ, feel free to leave it in the comments, and we can maybe learn about that together. All right, thanks a lot.